we're live with the App Show. Mike Agerbo here with my good friend John Feeler. Got a pretty cool program today. We will be chatting with our good friend Ted Kratsonos out of Toronto about Alexa in cars. If you want to talk to your car, well, that might soon be possible. We'll also be chatting with the folks over at eSight. They've got some really cool glasses for people with certain types of vision loss to help them see more clearly. And we'll also be chatting with the folks at London Drugs. If you've got an old computer or laptop that's still in good condition, and is usable, but it's just gathering dust, they've got a great donation program going on right now that helps bring some of those old laptops and computers to students that need them for back to school. So we'll be chatting with Nick over there about how that all works. And John, I think I'm going to bring some old stuff in there because I've got a bunch kicking around.
I think we both do, yeah.
I think my wife will love this. Let's talk about some of the news this week, John. Something really interesting from Google, people cards. And I don't know exactly where they're going with this. It's kind of like a LinkedIn Lite thing, but you can basically get your own Google People card and populate it with all your information so that you're easier to find online. Which, do you want to be easier to find online? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it just really depends on what your sort of line of business is or what type of work you're looking at. But yeah, I think this kind of an interesting sort of like hockey cards for people kind of thing is kind of a neat idea where you can have all of your stuff in one place, all your links to your socials, all your websites and any portfolios, that kind of thing. It kind of makes sense. I think people might have a problem with it being on Google, depending on how public they are normally. But it sounds like a good idea. The big thing behind this, it seems like it's like, here's all my stuff. Now you are more findable in the Google search side of things. So if someone's looking for a designer and you put designer on your card, then people will understand and be able to find you maybe a little bit easier.
If you want to try it out, you simply log on to your Google account and then enter "add me to search," and this prompt will appear. So check it out. We've got an article about it up on our website, GetConnectedMedia.com, if you want a little bit more info on how to do it. John, I want to talk about couriers right now quickly. I think we've all got, and I'm sure the listeners probably have, millions of these stories. I mean, the pandemic and the lockdown have been challenging for all of us, and we're getting more deliveries, obviously, because of it. I can only imagine the courier companies and Canada Post, they must be going insane right now with the increased volume. But I've been having challenges, John, like getting deliveries on any semblance of a schedule. And we've talked about this. I think the worst, and I'm sorry for calling them out, but UPS has just been horrendous for me over the past few months.
It's a three-way tie for the three worst courier companies with UPS.
Canada Post has been amazing.
UPS is the only one that hasn't. Everybody else has been awesome.
Yeah, FedEx, I don't have any problems with. Like my one story, I get, this tech gear into review all the time. And I think it was in March, Huawei had sent me one of their latest phones to review. And, it's important that we get these things in a timely fashion so that we can review them when, before they come out, so that we can post all our articles. Anyway, like 3 weeks go by and I keep getting these updates from UPS. It's coming. And every day it doesn't come. And then they send me another update the next day. It's coming. And when I finally got it, oh my God. Unfortunately, Huawei had put like a gift basket in this big box and with the phone. And unfortunately, in that gift basket was all sorts of things like a bottle of wine, a nice wine glass, a jar of jam, and a little teddy bear. And John, this box, when the UPS driver, he literally just kind of almost tossed it onto my front step. And the box looked like it had been beat to hell. Like I've never seen anything like it. Anyway, I open it and it's a crime scene. It's a crime scene. The jam jar had smashed open because this thing had just been tossed around like crazy. It had broken the wine glass and shards of glass had penetrated this poor little white teddy bear, and it's just covered in red. Yeah.
You showed me a photo.
Oh my God. I was laughing. It was just so comical. Like this poor teddy bear just dead.
Yeah.
Just dead.
I had a really frustrating experience with them just yesterday. We were shooting segments at your house, so I wasn't going to be home, but I was expecting a big delivery from Microsoft. We've got a bunch of new Surface devices coming in for review, and they're not inexpensive devices, and I wasn't going to be home, and I got the notification that UPS was going to be delivering. They hadn't even picked up the package in Toronto yet from where it comes from. And I went into your UPS at home account thing, and I said, you need to defer this delivery a day because I'm not going to be home. I don't want it sitting on my porch, and knowing my luck, it'll arrive 10 seconds after I drive out of my driveway and be sitting there all day waiting to be stolen.
Yeah. They
actually have this thing now where you can do that. You can pick your alternate delivery day. I'm thinking, cool. Oh, but there's a charge. I'm like, are you serious? Okay. And the charge is $2.10 because you have to pay tax on the charge as well. And so then I'm thinking, okay, good. It's all taken care of. I don't have to worry about it. We can go do our thing at your house. Everything's good. And then I get a notification from my video doorbell. Oh, someone just left a package on my doorstep. Fortunately, it was pretty late in the day.
Hey, to have it delivered a day later.
Yeah. Yeah, and it showed up on time.
They took your money.
Oh, they took my money, yeah. So then guess what I got to do today?
Oh, dear God. You didn't try to get that $2 back, did you?
I did try to get my $2 back. I felt like John Cusack and, give me my $2. And so I actually had to call. And of course, the number that they have is not the number you need to call. So they had to transfer me after me trying to explain to this woman that my package had arrived when it was supposed to, but I had paid for it to come later, but I already got it. She's like, well, what's the problem? I'm like, I got it when I didn't want to get it.
Yeah. And I paid.
And she could not understand this. So she had to transfer me somewhere else, which of course meant like a half hour on hold situation. And
you cheap bastard, like $2.
Well, it's the principle.
Yes.
It's the principle, right? Yeah. And also it's like you're forcing me to pay for something that I didn't want. I'm not going to give you $2 willingly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give them 10 cents willingly. Anyways, I finally talked to somebody who seemed like she was overburdened because she's probably working from home and her kids were screaming in the background.
Yeah.
And she said, well, if it was delivered differently than your date, then they'll just refund it automatically, but we can't do anything until at least 48 hours after the delivery. I'm like, great. So I get to call back again if it doesn't get taken off my credit card.
John, you will never get that $2 back. You have to find the right person that understands how to get in the system and fix that.
But I want more than $2 back.
What do you want?
I don't know. A brown truck?
And you know what? I'm sorry for calling them out, but they
deserve to be called out.
Yeah, I know it's hard, and those delivery guys, they're like working nonstop. So I truly appreciate it, but
it's not their fault at all. Yeah, no, it's their system.
Yeah, somewhere in the back end, their system is not good.
No,
their computer system. There's something up there. So I'm sorry. Like the people that work there are fantastic, but I don't know what Atari computer you're running your logistics and delivery system on, but it's not working. Okay, we're going to have to take a break. When we come back, we're talking with Ted Kritsonos about Alexa in your car. The new GM vehicles are building it right in, hard baking it in. Is this something you'll use? Well, let's find out. Back after this. You are back with the App Show. Mike Agerbo here with John Beeler. Still lots to talk about on today's program. Later on, we'll be chatting with the folks at London Drugs. If you've got some old computers and laptops, why not donate them for students who need them this fall? We'll also be talking with the folks at eSight. They make some very cool glasses that help people with certain types of vision loss see better. Really cool technology. Right now, I want to talk about Alexa. And I'm happy to say I actually turned off all the Alexa devices in my house so they don't go off while we're doing this interview. But I'm sure I'm pissing off people across Western Canada right now. We're going to talk about Alexa in your car. Do you want to talk to your car? Well, that's going to be possible with the new GM vehicles. We've got Ted Kritsonos from Toronto on the line to walk us through this. How you doing, Ted?
Good. How you guys doing?
Great. Well, we wanted to bring you on because, as we all know, you are an Alexa expert, and now they're putting that into GM vehicles. What's going on?
Yeah, so now GM is not the only automaker that's done this, and the integration has been going on in the US for some time now. So it's kind of a new thing in Canada, but not new for the auto industry. And interestingly, for GM, they're doing it in a number of vehicles, not just this year, but they've said that they're actually going to make it retroactive through an update to vehicles, not all the vehicles, but to a number of them going back to the 2018 model year. So if you have a 2018 model car and it's a GM vehicle, you might want to inquire to see if you are eligible for that update, because you can get the Alexa in there as well. Unfortunately, anything older than that, so 2017 or newer, won't work.
So why do we want Alexa in the car, Ted? I think that's the big question.
Yeah, so the idea is twofold. So on the one hand, you would be able to control pretty much anything you normally would control with Alexa anyway. So for example, you're heading home and maybe you want to turn on certain lights or anything else that's Alexa enabled, you can do that from the car, just like you would at home. There's no real difference in how you control your devices. You can also control music. So if you're a Spotify premium subscriber especially, although this does work on the free tier as well, but especially if you're a premium subscriber, you can also play music by voice too. So you can tell it, hey, play this song by this artist, and it'll do it. So there's a couple of different I think a couple of different reasons why you'd want to use Alexa just the same way you would at home, but you're just applying it in the car.
I could order toilet paper from my car.
You could. The shopping part of it is, not fully laid out yet, but that is the eventual idea. So the
roadmap, so to speak.
Yes. The eventual idea is that you would be able to, kind of do almost everything. Like you can't do phone calls. So as you know, with Amazon's own speakers, you can use them as phones. So as speaker phones, basically. You can't use that feature, unfortunately, when it comes to the car, but you can.
So you can't do a drop-in from the car, from the GM version of the car?
No. So they're not doing any drop-ins, unfortunately, John. And but what you can do, at least that they've integrated reasonably well, is that you can actually dial a number to call from your phone. So you're not. It's not like how it is with with an Alexa or Echo speaker where you're talking to each other through your respective speakers. It's not like that. It's just that what happens is that when you elect for Alexa to be the voice platform in the car, and what I mean by that is you're pressing the voice button on the steering wheel, it effectively kind of takes over from the one that GM has in there. And so some of the features that would be mapped to GM's are now with Alexa. So that includes phone calls. It includes even like climate control. In the car too. So they've integrated in an interesting way that if you're using it even on a basic level, it can be convenient. And what I think is good too is that it can work in tandem with CarPlay or Android Auto. So if you wanted Siri or Google Assistant in there, you can actually have those work separately from Alexa as well. So it's a pretty decent integration. It's not without its flaws, which we can get to, of course, but it's not bad the way they've laid it out.
That's one of the things that we talked about recently about the Echo Auto, the standalone device that Amazon actually makes that's now available in Canada. I have a CarPlay system and Android Auto in my car, and I actually use it in addition to that because it gives me a little bit more direct access to the Alexa ecosystem from my car while still having everything else that my car offers as well. So it's interesting how they've done this with the GM integration.
Yeah, and it's a good thing you brought that up because the Echo Auto would be the option for people who can't get this integration in their vehicles, right? So that's an aftermarket product that you can put in to kind of get the same experience. It won't be exactly the same, but it'll be a similar experience because one thing GM did in addition to bringing Alexa in is they brought Spotify into the car too. It's not baked in the sense that it has its own data plan, kind of like what Porsche did with Apple Music, of course, but it's there because it kind of integrates with Alexa as well. So and for the most part it works well, but there's one particular thing that I found odd in that integration, which I can get to. as well.
We'll get to that in a second. So a big question for me is the data. Like Alexa needs to go to the cloud to do all of this. Is it working off your phone, or do the cars have data in them to do this?
So there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can use your phone's data, of course, because naturally you're pairing your phone anyway to get, when you set up Alexa in the first place, it needs your account. You use your phone to verify that. There's usually a QR code, you point the camera at it, and then it sets you all up, and it's pretty simple from there. You can even also use whichever vehicle you have that GM has, or non-GM, any car that has Alexa, you can get the skill and apply that to your phone, to the app on your phone, and that way you can presumably start your car from your home, right? So you can talk to the speaker, and then it'll start the car. So yeah, you do need your phone. And then on the other hand, if, like in this case, the Chevy Trailblazer I was test driving, which has its own in-car Wi-Fi hotspot, if there is data that is on that, you can actually connect the phone through Wi-Fi, and essentially you're using the car's data to do it. But bear in mind that buying data for the car is not cheap. So it might actually be cheaper to use your phone as opposed to the in-car data in the long run.
And how easy is this to set up, Ted? I'm just thinking of normal people out there listening to us right now. CarPlay, Android Auto, Alexa, there's a lot of stuff going in these vehicles now. And for some people, it is confusing. Like, did you find the setup easy, difficult, medium?
It was easy. So to GM's credit, it is a pretty straightforward process because there's only a few steps. So when you elect, you launch the Alexa, you install it first of all, because you go to the little app store that GM has on the infotainment screen in the car. You install it, it launches, it gives you a QR code, point the camera at it, and you just log in with your Amazon account, and that's it. You're basically hooked up. And the only thing you have to do after that is decide, do you want to map it to the voice button on the steering wheel, or do you want to have a button that shows up on the screen? So that's really your only choice, because it won't trigger if you say Alexa. Like if you just say that, like you would normally with a speaker, nothing's going to happen in the car. You have to actually do something like a physical input of some kind in order to raise it. So, which might seem unusual for people who are used to using the platform, but it's for safety reasons that they did that.
What's the downside, Ted?
So the downside that I found in particular was one thing with Spotify that I thought was really weird, which was that any playlist, so normally with Spotify, when you use Alexa, even if you created the playlist, it knows the name of that playlist, and when you voice it, it'll play it. For some reason, which I'm still figuring out with GM and Amazon, if you have a playlist that starts with a number, 90s, 80s, 70s, whatever, it just can't seem to understand it. And in my case, while I was testing it, it never got those playlists right. The ones that had no numbers in them, it played them without a problem. But the ones with numbers, unfortunately, never played. It always thought I meant something else, and I just never, ever got it to work. And so, I've spoken with both companies about that, and I haven't gotten an answer as to why it happens, because when I do that on any other Alexa speaker at home, that never happens. It just plays those playlists without a problem. So I'm not sure where the disconnect is, but there definitely is an issue there.
You know what I love about you, Ted? And, we go to these press events all the time. I would say, good thing you're so charming and you're good at what you do, because I would think in some cases you're their worst nightmare, because you will find whatever is wrong with that thing. And you're not digging for it. You're not being a jerk or anything, but somehow you find them and you just dig at it, which is great for us because we get your expertise on it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Mikey. That was wonderful praise. And to be honest, I only came across this one because I happen to have playlists that have numbers in them. Yeah. And I was just looking to play something, and so I thought, okay, wait a second, why is it not playing? And then as I dug deeper into it, and I tried renaming them and everything, and it for some reason it just didn't work. Which is unfortunate, because really the rest of the experience wasn't bad at all. But that is one little issue that I think people will come across that needs to be fixed.
Well, the great thing is it is connected to the internet, and hopefully they'll have something fixed there soon. So overall, your impressions, thumbs up?
Well, it's thumbs up. And let's not forget, the 2021 Trailblazer is also the first GM vehicle to have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. It's only in the active and RS trims, by the way, people. Don't forget that. But it's the first GM vehicle to offer those two platforms completely wireless. You don't have to plug in your phone. You can use the wireless charger in the car, and you are all set up.
We've been talking with Ted Krotsonos about Amazon Alexa in the new GM cars. You'll be able to have your Alexa friend with you while you go on your road trip. Ted, thanks for joining us again.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
We want you to stay tuned to the App Show. We got a lot of great stuff coming up here. We'll be talking with the folks at eSight about some cool new glasses to help people with certain types of vision loss, and a great program. Have you got an old laptop or desktop in your house that is just collecting dust? Well, why not donate it so that a student can use it? The London Drugs has teamed up with another company to make that happen in Western Canada. Listening to the App Show here on the Chorus Radio Network. Back after this. Going to talk smart glasses now, and this is a topic that we've spoken about a number of times. As you remember, John, I got those special focals from North, the smart glasses that unfortunately are dead now because Google bought them and killed it.
like my Google Glass.
Like your Google Glass. But there are a number of companies out there that are in this space that are serving more targeted or specific audience and doing well with it. One of those would be eSight, and we've got them on the line today to talk about their smart glasses. We've got Brian McCollum with us. Thanks for joining us, Brian.
Thanks, Mike.
Am I correct in saying that they're smart glasses?
You know, I would almost challenge it a little bit because smart glasses typically played in that area of mixed reality, to where you had reality, you pulled something over the top of it. For us, it's more augmented reality, to be honest, because you've got something that you're using their eyes, you're using their senses, but they just can't see certain things. And so what we're doing is we're trying to augment that vision for them. So we like to refer to ourselves more as augmented reality versus smart glasses. We're also more of a device than smart glasses, which I'm sure we'll dive into.
So yeah, that's a fantastic point, Brian. Your glasses are made, I think, more for people with some form of vision loss to help them see the world around them better.
That's correct.
How long have you guys been around? Like, what was the inspiration to start up eSight?
Yeah, so the company's been around about 10 years. It originally started with a gentleman named Conrad Lewis. He was the original founder, and he had two sisters that had Stargardt's disease. And so Stargardt's disease is essentially central vision loss, but typically found in younger patients. And we'll jump into macular degeneration in a little while, but those sisters could not see. And Conrad committed to them at an early age for them that he was going to find a solution. And that's what he set out to do. He created eSight 1, the original version, in 2011, 2012. We just now launched eSight 4, which is our latest and greatest here in 2020. So about 9 years of transition from a device that stayed very similar, but also very different. And we'll jump into that in a little while.
Tell us about the glasses themselves. How do they work?
Okay. It's pretty simple, actually. It's basically a camera on the front of it, and it's taking the image that you would normally be seeing. It's running it through our software system, which is an algorithm-based software system, and it's pulling the image and filling the gap on two screens inside the headset itself. And so think of it, one camera takes it, runs it through a software system, and it pulls it into a screen that's right in front of your eyes. And so what is interesting about our product is that it's got two screens. It takes what you would normally be seeing in the middle that you can't see, and it makes it one picture, because you still have your peripheral vision, typically with central vision loss. And so we're not blocking that out. We're not taking and completely closing your headset off. We're using what you have and also pulling it in, the image in, to make a full picture.
Do these need any other devices like a smartphone or a computer?
They do not. They are self-contained. Now, we do work with smartphones. We can also work with computers. We can link them. We can stream back and forth. We can mirror what's on a device. But the new eSight 4 is 100% wireless, self-contained. Battery is in the headset itself, and pretty much for life on the go.
How long does the battery last?
So they're interchangeable. Each battery lasts anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, depending on brightness and some other factors that are going on in the headset. So we include 2 with the device. So that should get anywhere between 4 to 6 hours. And with a third battery, they could essentially be out to an 8-hour day.
For these glasses, what kind of price range are we talking?
So the eSight 4 is the same price as what the eSight 3 was, and it's right at $5,950. That's kind of what our list price is. What is most proud of what we've been doing here over the last 2 or 3 months is we're trying to make the product more accessible. And price is obviously a number that people sometimes gravitate toward. But for us, we look at how can we actually get these products to people. And so we have programs like an Empower program, to where we help them fundraise if they are unable to come up with that money. And we have most recently started talking to insurance companies and just recently signed 3 contracts with insurance companies, networks, in order to cover the glasses for these people. So we believe it's more of a medical device, more of a technology that the healthcare system should be interested in covering it, which will really alleviate the price point for some of these folks.
How comfortable are these to wear for extended periods of time?
So the new design, the most recent design, eSight 3, before we just launched eSight 4, was essentially a pair of glasses that had a strap around it. And people told us we could probably wear it 2 hours max, right? It was just something that, even though it wasn't heavy, it just wasn't that comfortable to wear. The strap wasn't that comfortable. So that feedback went into how we developed eSight 4. And so eSight 4 is made with a halo type design for the head mount, or for the headset itself. And so it basically sits on top of the head with full weight distribution. So you've got a battery in the back, you've got a goggles that tilt up and down in the front. So it sits right on the head. We actually had a user acceptance who does computer programming. And he was like, the comfort is not the problem at all. It's training your eyes, because you're basically stimulating your eyes so much. He goes, I could wear the device all day long. He goes, but my eyes might get a little tired because I got to train them to receive that synaptic activity. So I'd say from a comfort perspective, we've got a design that we think can really play to what people need.
I also think too that even if there is some discomfort, although it sounds like you've addressed some of those issues, the pros outweigh the cons, I guess, in this equation.
Absolutely.
You might wear it longer than you would normally just because you're getting so much use out of it.
That's right. And this device, we think, really plays well. A lot of the folks with visual disabilities, whether it's vocational rehab type facilities or VAs in the U.S., their job is to get people back to work. And so these folks need to be able to work a 6, 7, 8-hour day. And so we needed to come up with a device that had the battery life, or at least we could interchange the batteries, as well as comfort that would allow them to do that. So we really made a focused effort to come up with something that hits those marks.
We're talking with Brian McCollum. He is the Chief Commercial Officer over at eSight. They make some very special glasses for folks who have vision loss. Brian, can you talk about some of the different types of vision loss this would help?
Sure. So there's, if you think about the number of people vision loss impacts, there's 60 plus million people in the G20 countries that suffer from some type of vision disability, disorder, et cetera. And so the population is enormous, right? But that runs the gamut of, hundreds of types of diseases. Where we really play is in the central vision loss area. And so there's probably 20 to 25 true core disorders that these devices really help with. And the big one being that impacts most people is macular degeneration. And so basically it's an age-related condition that your macula begins to deteriorate as you get older. There are injections that people can use to try to prolong that. But the big bolus of those patients that we believe we can help are in that macular degeneration arena. If you back up a little bit to the next kind of two, diabetes is a huge risk factor across several countries, and diabetic retinopathy is one condition that arises from diabetes. And so that's also that affects the central vision. And so those two are the primary ones. And when you back it on down to younger patients, Stargardt's disease, which is kind of hereditary and kind of at onset at an early age, those three are the big ones that we kind of focus on today.
What's the future?
Well, the future is eSight 4 today. So we just launched the product last week. I do truly believe this is the best, truest, commercially viable product that the company has ever developed. We have taken user evaluation feedback. We've taken feedback from 3,000 plus users that have had our eSight 2 and eSight 3 devices. And early indications are we've really hit the mark here on comfort, mobility, just design. And so we feel really good about being able to offer that to the masses and to be able to see where that takes eSight. I do believe, as a mission, as we think about it and we sit around and talk, we know these people are out there. We know our device helps them. How do we go find them? And that's the challenge that we've always had. And that's where we're focused our time right now. So we want to go find these people as much as we can to help them.
Brian, I appreciate you talking us through this today. I mean, obviously, with the aging population we have, this is very important technology for folks out there because many of us will be experiencing this vision loss. What's the website address if people wanted to find out more info?
They can find us at www.esighteyewear.com. That's where they'll be able to find us.
Fantastic. That was Brian McCollum. He's the Chief Commercial Officer over at eSight.com. We're going to have to take a break, but there'll be more tech to talk when we come back. Stay tuned. You are back. Mike Agerbo here with John Beeler. Well, we're heading into the fall timeframe. That means back to school in whatever form that might be. More than 23,000 children in BC, however, will require technology loans from their schools for remote learning. We're going to talk today with Nick Curalli from London Drugs. They're partnered with an organization called BC Technology Learning Society. And the goal there is to get tech into the hands of these students that might not be able to afford it. Thanks for joining us today, Nick.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Can you give us kind of the Reader's Digest version of what you guys are hoping to accomplish here?
Sure. I mean, first and foremost, Mike, this is an opportunity to, as we always want to do at London Drugs, is try to give back to communities and the communities that we serve. And so when we became aware that a great number of kids, students in our very markets that we serve are going without the necessary technology to learn and to thrive, we really started to look for ways to help. And so in a partnership with BC Technology Learning Society, we've discovered that there's a really interesting synergy. They, during COVID, have been having real difficulties getting their hands on lightly used technology. Things have dried up a bit. Small to medium businesses are fighting to stay in business, and thus some of those sources that they would have had in the past aren't there anymore. And so what we're doing is trying to use our network, our wonderful customer base, to say, hey, if you're upgrading your technology because you have needs, whether it be for business or school or what have you, do you have lightly used technology that could benefit these kids? If you do, bring it into London Drugs and we'll make sure it gets into the right hands. So that's really the center of what we're trying to do here.
So what kind of tech are you looking for?
It's a great question. First and foremost, we're looking for technology like laptops and PCs. But as we know, technology that's used for learning can span into tablets and phones as well. So we're accepting all of those. We need them to be functional. We need them to, for example, if it's a Windows-based system, we'd really like it to be Windows 7 or newer, just so that we can give those students just a fair learning environment. It needs to be in full working condition. It needs to have a power cord so that we can do what we need to do. The really cool part about this is our job is to bring these the customers in to see if we can make use of this technology. We will make sure that it's got the requisite parts, wipe the hard drives to make sure that all personal information is removed. And then BC Technology Learning Society takes over from there. They have wonderful agreements on putting operating systems on these devices that are very low cost, so they can do it, and they're very good at it. What they're missing is the actual hardware with which to do it.
seems like a lot of work for London Drugs. Like that's a lot of hours into like getting these things up and going again.
Yeah, I will give credit to BC Technology. They're going to do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of loading the machines.
Okay.
We've been recycling for many years, right? So we've grown some really good methodologies around this that maintain the privacy of the donors and what have you. But Mike, at the end of the day, it's about doing the right thing. It's about giving back to the community. Sometimes there's a cost related to it, but we found that to be always the right thing to do.
What if you get a bunch of stuff that is not usable? What happens to it?
Yeah, we expect that that's going to happen from time to time, and we already do that. So we invite our customers to bring in their technology, if it's broken or obsolete, we invite them to bring it in so that we can recycle it effectively for them. So we do that today. As always, we clear hard drives and make sure that personal information is gone, and then we recycle it through the channels that our What's the Green Deal program has been going on for many years, and it includes technology and making sure that we recycle that responsibly.
And can people go into any London Drugs?
That's the exciting part. So you've mentioned BC Technology Learning Society. Through them, we've been able to forge relationships with similar organizations across Western Canada. So what's really exciting as well is that no matter where the location is across our chain of 81 stores, this program is in place and you can bring your technology in. And if you, for example, bring your technology in Saskatchewan, it will benefit students in Saskatchewan and so forth across Western Canada.
Well, Nick, I have to tell you, I appreciate this. I mean, you guys are a big company, but what I've always liked about London Drugs is you got a heart as well. I know a lot of you guys for many years over there, and you're real people, and you really do care about what you do, and you care about the community as well. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity to even declutter. I think a lot of people like, John and I mean, we're obviously nerds, but we got truckloads of this stuff in our garages and stuff, and I can imagine people over the years start collecting this as well. So this is a wonderful opportunity to have it recycled and put to use for students that basically need this technology.
Yeah, thank you. I have to say I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you both about this. I can tell you our whole group is really excited about this. I have to tell you, being able to give back feels really good. Yeah. Especially during these times. There's lots of stories about people that are in a difficult way. So we really, I got to tell you, I get so much satisfaction from leading a group that's excited to help. And I'm just happy and glad that we can.
Been talking with Nick Curalli. He's over at London Drugs. They've got a great program going with BC Technology Learning Society. If you've got a gently used computer, laptop, tablet, phone that you think would benefit a student that needs this for learning this fall, go into any London Drugs and you can drop it off there. I want to thank you so much for joining us and telling us about this program, Nick.
It's my pleasure. I just say to you both, be well and be safe.
Thank you, Nick. When we come back from the break, more Tech to Talk. Stay tuned. You're back with the App Show. Don't forget to visit our website, GetConnectedMedia.com. We've got great contests going on right now, giving away a Samsung Galaxy A71 smartphone. This thing is a fantastic camera. It's fast, runs the latest Android, and you can have a chance to win. Go to the newsletter tab at GetConnectedMedia.com and enter, and you can win. I want to thank everyone that helps put the show together, including John and Christina and the rest of the folks back at the ranch. See you again next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube page. And that little bell icon, hit that and you'll be notified every time we post a new video. And comment. The more comments and the more likes and subscriptions we get, the more videos we can make.